Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Start on Campus, all about finances session. I'm Jenny, and I am part of the START team, which is helping you prepare this summer for starting in fall of 2022. If you have any questions this summer and don't know who to ask, feel free to reach out to us at the START team by emailing start@uofguelph.ca. Before we begin today, I want to begin with a land acknowledgement. The University of Guelph resides on the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. It is recognized that the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples have long-standing and ongoing relationships with this land. This is a gathering place where we work and learn, and is home to many past, present, and future First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. It is important to recognize the lands of Indigenous peoples locally, across Turtle Island, and around the world. We acknowledge the land because we have a collective responsibility to this place, its peoples, histories, rights, and presence. So today we are going to talk about a very important topic of finances. It's really important for you folks to understand your financial obligations at university. And financial skills are really important because it helps you create independence, set and reach your goals, enjoy living responsibly within your means, and helping you prepare for your future after university, as budgeting skills are something that everyone needs in their everyday life. Today, we're going to talk about budgeting, how you can pay for university using WebAdvisor, what to expect, how to also work while you're a student, and your resources that you have access to as a student. We have Brianna from Student Financial Services joining us, and we have Brittany and Corey joining us from the Experiential Learning Hub. So let's get started with Brianna from Student Financial Services.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenny. Hi, everyone. I'm Brianna. I work as a service assistant in Student Financial Services, and I'm going to talk to you today a bit about finances during your university career. So while it can sound like a daunting task, creating a financial plan is easy if you know the key factors that go into financial planning. If you're not sure where to begin, don't worry, we got you covered. By the end of today's session, you'll have a good footing to navigate financial planning on your own and start, messing around with playing and creating budgets. So how do you get ready for the upcoming fall semester? You can prepare by talking to your support network, for example, family or guardians or friends, and working out a plan in budget for your upcoming school year. You can also reach out to the University of Guelph for assistance in preparing for the start of your university career. So budgeting is super important as it helps you understand how much money you will need to get yourself through a semester. A budget can help you decide on what costs to cut back on and be financially ready. So for example, if you can help you understand when to skip the Tim Hortons coffee or ice cap, which is my personal weakness. So you can save for something that you really want, or even just so you know what your financial resources are or what you can expect or plan to have available to you for your second semester. Budgets are super helpful because they minimize or remove your money worries so that you can devote your focus to your studies. And we'll be going through a budget planning example today. So if you'd like to follow along, just grab a scrap piece of paper and you can, draft out a mini budget as we go through today's session. You'll also have the opportunity to rewatch this later because it is being recorded. So if you miss anything, you'll have a chance to catch up on it. So the first step in creating a budget is listing the money or financial resources that you'll have available to you during your term. So a resource can be savings, it can be government loans, it can be support from your family, scholarships, bursaries, the list goes on. If someone's going to be supporting you financially, it's important to use today's session as a reason to have a conversation with them. This week to, figure out what does that support mean. It can vary from one person to the next, but it could mean that they help you pay for your food while you're at university, like that Tim Hortons coffee. Or it can mean that they, assist you in covering part of your tuition. Who is paying for what and for how long is all things that you'll need to figure out, and what kind of expectations there are around that financial support. For example, you may need to keep your grades up to keep getting assistance from your parents, or there could be an expectation that you will pay some of this money back to them at some point in the future. It is important that you have an open conversation about these topics with your family or your guardians to see what that's going to look like throughout the 4 years of your time here at the University of Guelph. It's also normal not to have someone supporting you financially during your university career, but perhaps you have someone who would be open to sharing information or discussing finances with you. It's important to have a conversation with that person and just be open with them. And it's also good to start looking at resources such as Student Financial Services at the University of Guelph, who can talk you through, talk to you if you want more information about planning your finances or being supported through tight spots with money, because we're here to help you guys. So by now, you'll have had the opportunity to apply for entrance scholarships and bursaries, but the financial aid and award opportunities do not stop there. The University of Guelph has several in-course awards, such as the Financial Need Assessment Form, the First Generation Bursary, and the Indigenous Student Bursary, to name just a few. The applications for these bursaries can be found on the Student Financial Services website under the heading Forms. And the forms for the fall are typically available in mid-August and are usually due around October 7th. Work study is also on the Financial Need Assessment Form. This is an on-campus part-time job program that assists students with demonstrated financial need. If you are eligible for work study during the 4 years here, whether you're thinking about it for fall 22 or not, I would still encourage you to apply. I am not going to go in, super depth with this one right now, but if you stay tuned, we will be coming back to this later in today's session to talk about work study and jobs in general on campus. During the summer semester, the undergraduate research assistantships or programs provide full-time employment opportunities for students to participate in research by pairing an undergraduate with the demonstrated financial need to a member of the UofG faculty. This application process does start in December, so that's a little bit in the future yet. Finally, there is a full list of scholarships and bursaries available on the Student Financial Services website using the award search feature, where you can filter by program and preferences, whether it's financial need, whether it needs an application. While most scholarships do not require students to apply, there are some that do require additional documents like letters or references. If you have interest in any of those awards or that require additional information, make sure that you note their deadlines and what their requirements are, because they might be specific to that certain award. For international students, you can apply using the Financial Need Assessment Form after you've completed your first year at the university. There is also an international undergraduate entrance scholarship for new first-year international students who have been awarded the University of Guelph entrance scholarship this year, who can receive a renewal amount in the second, third, and fourth years if you meet the eligibility criteria. And the criteria for that is all on our website. Other resources to consider or include would be student loans, so government loans or bank loans. Loans can be tricky. However, most provinces, there is a financial assistance program that's available that can assist you when it comes to paying for school. In Ontario, we have the Ontario Student Assistance Program, which offers funding through grants, which is the money you keep, and loans, which is money that you're expected to pay back when you're done your schooling. Now, it is important to keep in mind that OSAP is not intended to cover 100% of your costs, but it is an additional resource available to students who wish to apply for it. When you apply for OSAP, you are automatically considered for both loans and grants. If you don't want the loan, you can simply decline it after you receive your OSAP assessment for that year. If you decide to take the loans, they remain interest-free while you're a full-time student. And as long as we are able to confirm through a full-time application to the NSLSC, the National Student Loan Service Center, that you are full-time. We do require an application just to be able to confirm that. There are also programs when it comes time to paying your loans that'll help you understand how to repay government loans and how that all works. They do have repayment seminars. If you think you might be interested in OSAP and you've not already done so, I would recommend applying on osap.ca as soon as possible, just to give us enough time to work through the documents. If you don't qualify for government funding, you can reach out to banks to inquire about private loans, or you can reach out to your bank to inquire about a student line of credit that you might be eligible to apply for. If you need more resources to look into, we have some links on the screen to some external resources for students that you can check out.
Amazing. So now let's run through an example of tabulating your resources. For example, let's say that I'm going to be a new first-year student and I just received my funding assessment from OSAP, and they've provided me with X amount of money for the fall and X amount of money for the winter. I also have a scholarship of $3,000, which will be split over the fall and winter semesters. A $500 in-course bursary that I got by submitting the financial need assessment form, which will be given to me in the winter. And I also work a minimum wage job, about 10 hours a week, which roughly works out to $2,000 every semester. I also talked to my guardian, and they said they would contribute $1,500 each semester for my tuition in my first year. That comes to a total of $10,500 plus the government loans or grants I receive from Osap. So these are the resources I am working with for my entire first year at school. Now I need to work out my expenses, or what I will be spending money on this year.
So this is where you're going to compile a list of your anticipated expenses, both for school and in your personal life. You'll want to leave room for unexpected expenses that might arise so that you're not caught off guard should something happen that you didn't anticipate. In our experience, the most expensive months will be September and January because of tuition, textbooks, supplies, etc. that are required at the beginning of each academic semester. Tuition is paid by semester to help soften the blow to your bank account. Tuition does vary by program, so make sure that you look at how much your specific program's tuition is and ensure that you budget properly for that amount. You can find this information on the Student Financial Services website under Tuition and Fees, or on your WebAdvisor account after you've registered for the term and bills have been released. Compulsory fees are mandatory for essential services which ensure the health and safety of the campus and the campus community, and they provide academic support to students. All students are required to pay compulsory fees every academic semester, and these fees support programs and services that benefit students and enhance University of Guelph's unique campus culture. We recommend reading about the programs and services that exist because of students for students. A list of the full fees is available on our website. Textbook prices, they can vary depending on a variety of different factors, but mostly whether you're buying the textbook where you're buying the textbook from, what shape it's in, whether it's brand new, whether it's used. So we encourage you to expect an expense of at least a few $100s per semester on textbooks and supplies, though it will be dependent on your program and your course needs. After you have considered the school-related costs, your next step is to think about living costs. So where are you going to live? What's the cost of your rent or your residence room? If you are living on campus, meal plans have a range of costs depending on how much you'll eat. If you'll be buying groceries because you're living off campus or at home, we encourage you to take a look at what the cost has been over the past few months, or to have a conversation with a parent or guardian about the cost if you'll be living at home and assisting with the grocery bill. And don't just think about this semester, think about all 4 years. If you'll be living off campus in the future, proactively looking at the cost of transportation can help you make decisions. For example, the cost of having a car and a parking pass on campus is likely going to be higher than taking public transit. The bus pass is included in your bill each semester, and it is a compulsory fee. Sorry.
Awesome. So we're now going to get back to our example. So let's say I am a first-year Canadian student from Ontario living on campus. My tuition and fees average around $3,800 per semester. I'm going to budget around $750 per semester for books and supplies. As I will be living on campus, I'll be paying around $3,750 per semester for my room. And finally, since I am in residence, I will have a meal plan, so I know I'll be paying $3,000 per semester in my first year. If you're living off campus, you will need to budget for your groceries. If you know how much you typically spend on groceries per month, multiply that by 4 to get the cost of groceries over 1 semester. This will provide you your total for anticipated expenses in your first year.
So, having gone over the expenses for the year, we know that university costs a lot of money, and we also know that not everyone can afford to pay that cost. The University of Guelph believes that post-secondary education should be an attainable goal for all qualified students. If you're feeling concerned about your budget, we'd like to remind you and encourage you to apply for scholarships and bursaries that we offer, as well as government loan programs, including Canadian or US loans, to help you with these costs. Now that we've gone over how to budget, we'll go over how you can pay your bill each semester. Your student bill is posted on WebAdvisor under Account View. The fall bills were posted last week at the end of the week with tuition and compulsory fees. Residence and meal plan charges will be added in mid-August if that applies to you. And students must pay the $200 registration deposit by August 12th. And all remaining fees after that would be paid by September 16th. If your head is spinning trying to keep track of dates, I would recommend putting in your Griffmail calendar the different dates so you can keep track of them. And we also have on our website a dates and deadlines page, which we update well in advance of each new semester with the dates for that brand new semester. Accepted methods of payment can be found under the Payments and Accounts tab on the Student Financial Services website. The most common and most efficient method of paying is via online banking. We do honor the date that your bank shows that you made the payment. As we know, bank payments can take about 2 to 3 business days to process. If your payment's not received within that 3 business day window, we recommend that you send us a screenshot showing the proof that you've made the payment to avoid penalties such as late fees. For our international students, we recommend you use Pay My Tuition for your payments. Pay My Tuition is simple. It is a simple and efficient way of paying your account via international payment transfer. It is important to note that Student Financial Services does not accept e-transfers, personal checks, or any other form of in-person payment, such as credit card, debit card, or cash. In the next few slides, I will show you how to see the balance on your WebAdvisor account and how to understand it. If you'd like, you can log into WebAdvisor and follow along with us. So to get started, you'll go to uofguelph.ca/WebAdvisor and click on the red Access WebAdvisor button. You'll log in using your central login ID and password. Then you'll click on the box that says Account View. You'll be brought to the Account Overview, where you will see a summary of all the bills for each semester you've attended. If you click on Fall 2022, you will see the account activity for the Fall 22 semester only. This is where you can find a breakdown of your charges, your financial aid, your payments, similar to our budget. If you click on the Charges tab, you'll be able to see an item by item list of all the charges on your account for tuition and compulsory fees, as well as residence and meal plan if you're living on campus. But again, those will be available around mid-August. Further down the page, if we click on Financial Aid, you'll see any scholarships or bursaries that you've been awarded. Lastly, to see your pending deposits, such as residence deposits, expand the menu on the left-hand side of the financial information, click on Financial Information, and then select Residence Deposit/Deposit Summary. This is a page where you'll also find information about your external scholarships that we may have received for you if you are expecting one. Need help? Student Financial Services and the START team are here for you, so please reach out. Whether it's proactively or if you find yourself stuck in a situation where finances are tough or changed, just reach out. Please note that staff and faculty at the University of Guelph are bound by provincial legislation that prevents us from discussing a student's confidential information with anyone other than the student. This information includes schedules, financing, and academic achievement. As a student, if you would like to allow another person to have access to your financial account information, you will need to complete the Release of Information form on WebAdvisor. It is located under financial information in the menu on the left-hand side. No matter the relationship to the student, no one can have access to a student's financial account unless the student has filled out this Release of Financial Information form. You can always add or remove someone using this form. Additionally, it is especially important that you monitor your University of Guelph email regularly because that is our primary method of communication with you. Some of the emails that we send could require your action, so it's extremely important that you read them through thoroughly and take action where it's needed. And if you have any questions about Student Financial Services, we are going to post our contact info again in an announcement for you folks so that you can jot it down.
So you'll see as a student that you'll be the person with access, not any family members or supporters. The same will go if you call or contact the university asking for information about you. There are privacy laws that the university abides to. We will always do our best to help you, but I want to share with the families and supporters that one, an employee may default to giving you an overview of what theoretically would happen in a situation and may not be able to speak directly about your student because of privacy. And number two, there's an opportunity for independent living and learning at university. And one of these opportunities is to support your student in learning how to navigate more independently, such as booking appointments for themselves or seeking info and resources, but with your support, but necessarily not doing it for them. You'll find that seeking support from student financial services holds to that. Now I'm going to pass it along to Brittany, who is going to talk about working while a student.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jenny. All right, let me just get my screen share set up here. All right, we are in business. Wonderful. Hi, folks. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So my name is Brittany, and I work in the Experiential Learning Hub at UofG. So I'm excited to talk to you all today about working while being a student. So here are some things to consider. We do recognize that many students do have to work while they are a student in order to make ends meet, and we're going to mention a few employment resources to help you find those jobs that you're looking for. Something to note is that if you are an international student, you'll want to familiarize yourself with the rules around working in Canada under your study permit. There are the lovely folks in International Student Experience who can assist you with questions around those study permits and working while on a study permit. So students are often concerned about balancing work and studying because obviously adjusting to university in itself is a whole new ballgame, but then you throw a job into it and that can be really stressful too. We have found that most students will engage in about 5 to 15 hours of work per week, whether that's on campus or off campus. In addition, there are lots of opportunities to work on campus, which is great because then you don't have to worry about taking the bus to get to your job. And we find that campus employers can be very accommodating to the student schedule because they know what it's like to be a student and can really empathize with that. So today you'll see that I'm sharing my screen. This is our website, experienceguelph.ca, where you can log in and find job postings. So when you get to Experience Guelph on the website, you'll log in under the student section and click on student login. New students, you will get access to this after you've completed course selection. So now I'm just going to switch over to a different tab where I am logged in as a sample student here. So there are two job boards that I do want to bring to your attention today. I know that this website is, there's a lot of different tabs and things going on, but there's just two parts that I really want to show you for today. So first of all, there's the on-campus jobs and opportunities tab. If you click on that, you'll notice that there are these nice and easy quick searches section where we have separated out the common types of positions that you might be searching for. So for example, athletics is a huge department on campus and they hire a ton of students, so they have their own section here. There's also the next biggest one is the general student opportunities to work on campus. And then we also have some different volunteering positions in here as well. But for now, the general student opportunities to work on campus is one to definitely keep an eye on. As Brianna was talking about earlier, we do have the work study program, which allows you to work part-time if you demonstrate financial need, and those positions are found here in Experience Guelph under the quick search work study. All right, then the other part that I want to show you on Experience Guelph is the career board. So this is where we have all of our off-campus job postings. So this does include part-time, full-time, and summer jobs as well. But for now, under the career job postings, you could go to search job postings and then filter by part-time. So under the job posting information, position type, you could click part-time and then scroll to the bottom and click search job postings. And then it will show you all of these wonderful postings that we have open right now for off-campus part-time job opportunities. Just a couple notes about using Experience Guelph. It's really important to read the job posting instructions very carefully before you apply. This is where we see students making the most mistakes, whether they're applying to a job that's a full-time job geared towards alumni, whether they're actually a current student looking for a part-time job, or not addressing the job requirements in their resume, or not including all of the application materials that are requested. So definitely make sure when you're applying to jobs on the website that you are keeping an eye on those instructions that you'll find in the job posting. You can apply to most postings directly through Experience Guelph by uploading the requested documents, but there are some postings that you'll see that will bring you to the employer's website outside of Experience Guelph. And you'll also notice that there are programs like Work Study, like I mentioned, that will only let you apply if you qualify. If you see a warning message, look in the additional applicant information section for more details about why you're not able to apply just yet. There's probably a good chance that you'll need to submit the needs assessment form before you can get access to apply to the work study positions. All right, so that is my spiel on Experience Guelph for now. Now I'm just going to switch over to a general slide. Okay, so I do just want to talk a little bit more about our department as a whole. So at the Experiential Learning Hub, we know that working is a really wonderful way to gain experience for further education or for employment after graduation, whatever your goals might be, as well as volunteering and experiential learning coursework. So our goal at the Experiential Learning Hub is to help connect you to opportunities that are going to help you develop the knowledge, skills, and attitude that employers and grad schools are looking for in students. So if you are looking to gain specific types of experiences, we can help align your work opportunities with your personal, academic, and career goals. So for example, I'll hear from students who are really eager to get into the Ontario Veterinary College, and we'll have a conversation about what types of opportunities will help them develop the skills and experience that they're looking for to get into a competitive program such as that. So some example campus jobs might include program delivery positions in student experience, lab assistants in science departments, or customer service positions in hospitality or athletics. There are also lots of really cool marketing and social media roles in many academic and support departments across campus and much more. So if you are looking for help, we are here to support you with your job search. So we can help you with your resume and your cover letter or help you prepare for an interview. I can imagine that a lot of you are still rocking that grade 10 resume that you made in careers class, which is okay at the time, but now that we're in university and applying to more kind of advanced jobs, you might need some help polishing up that resume, and that's where we can help. So on the slide here, I've shared some more info about what our department does in general. So one of the units in the Experiential Learning Hub is cooperative education. So if you are a co-op student, we are the department that assists you with your co-op journey. We also offer career advising and further education planning. So again, if you're thinking about graduating and going on to more schooling, we can help you with that. Like I mentioned, we can help you with your resume, your cover letters, and your interviews, as well as we have job boards, career fairs, and employer events, and connecting you to those hands-on learning opportunities and community engagement opportunities if you really want to build up some great experience for your resume. So I've included our website on the slide here, but one of the best and easiest ways to keep in touch with us is to give us a follow on Instagram. We are at EXP Guelph, and that's a really easy way to make sure that you're in the loop about what we've got going on at our department. All right, I think I've done enough talking at you for now. Now I'm excited that we have Corey joining us. Corey is a recent grad who has had a lot of awesome work experience. So I'll let Corey take it away and share her experiences as a student.
Awesome. Thanks, Brittany. Hi, everyone. So my name is Corey, and I'm a recent grad from the University of Guelph. So I earned my Bachelor of Arts honors, majoring in psychology and minoring in human resources. So sort of like that psych and business combo going on. I've dipped my toes in a lot of awesome work opportunities throughout my 5 years as a student at Guelph. My journey started all the way back in the winter semester of my second year. And it was actually through the Experiential Learning Hub newsletter that I had signed up for back in my first year that I noticed these really cool postings called Undergraduate Research Assistantships, or URAs for short, which were mentioned earlier. They're posted in about February. And so I had read these postings and I was like, yes, full-time hands-on research with a professor during the summer. This is exactly what I want to be doing. Prior to that, I'd been working in a call center for 2.5 years, so it had been ages since I'd applied for any new jobs. I'd never applied for a research position before. At the time, I didn't think I had any relevant experience. My resume was in desperate need of a refresh. Didn't even know what a CV was. I was nervous. I mean, I had no idea where to start. So I reached out to a career advisor, and actually Brittany was one of those advisors. And this was really the 30-minute meeting that taught me so much. It helped me learn the difference between a resume and a CV. I learned that I actually had a lot of relevant experience, transferable skills, and how to be able to market them, and specifically tailoring my resume to the positions that I wanted to apply for. And I even booked a follow-up appointment to practice for a mock interview because I forgot how to be calm, cool, and collected during that interview process and, produce answers that slay. So it was during midterms and I was really, really busy at the time. But I did set the goal to just apply to a few positions at a time on weekends. And this was a really useful strategy for me. It helped it become more manageable. And after that initial meeting with the career advisor and probably like 4 subsequent visits because I kept wanting more feedback and more practice, which is totally okay. They're very open to that. It really helped me gain my mojo back for applying to jobs. And so I sort of set this personal goal to also develop my skills in the meantime. I want to become a more competitive candidate because there's a lot of people applying to URAs at the time. So I discovered that we actually had free workshops through the library for statistical software. I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. Let me tell you, I was the only undergrad in that room at the time, surrounded by master's and PhD students. For the first 5 minutes, I was like, I'm an imposter. What am I doing here? But then I was really, really proud of myself. And it really proved to myself that I can be proactive and I can learn new things pretty much anytime I wanted to. And there's a lot of workshops, free workshops out there to be able to do so. So I applied to all these psychology URAs. And I didn't get any interviews. Admittedly, I was discouraged at the time, but I was like, let's give it one last shot. I applied to all the URAs that sounded interesting. Even if I wasn't sure if I'd met all the criteria 100%, I figured, what can I lose? Little did I know that those workshops would actually score me one of those positions. And it was outside the psychology department. It was looking at digital innovation in the food and beverage industry, and it belonged to the School of Hospitality, Food and Tourism Management, working under Dr. Levalle. So she was my supervisor, and she actually later disclosed to me that I was the only one that had applied with experience in using NVivo, which was the statistical software that she wanted to use. So that 1 hour spent in a workshop literally got me a full-time job for the summer. I got to travel all around Southern Ontario, interviewing top management teams. I collected and analyzed data and later spearheaded the writing of a teaching case, and we won an honorable mention at a case competition. So it was just like a full circle experience. And this professor actually turned out to be my most impactful mentor throughout university. She hired me back on for 2 summers worth of full-time employment working in research, 2 semesters of part-time employment doing transcription and other online research tasks. And even though she's now working at another university in the US, she just reached back out to me in June, and I'm doing more part-time work for her again this summer. So it has just been the absolute most incredible experience. In my 5 years at Guelph, I've had the privilege to work across 5 different departments. And in each of them, I gained so many new experiences, ranging from being a sort of casual contract tour guide in admissions. I've also, this summer, I'm currently working as a programming assistant in the Experiential Learning Hub. So my job is to keep research students connected, and also working in student experience now as well, helping orient transfer students to find their home at Guelph. So every time I'm just gaining more experience, and applying for a job becomes a little bit easier each time, and I feel that little bit more confident. So honestly, my favorite part about working on campus has got to be the supportive work environment. My supervisors, they care about my success as a student, like above all else. They ask me about my goals. They value my mental health. They always work around my schedule to ensure that I get time off when I need to study, like for midterms or exams. And I really started to notice a pattern that they kept wanting to hire me back on. So that makes me feel really appreciated. And like I have the capacity to grow when I'm working on campus. And so take it from me, like these types of opportunities are everywhere as a student. And the steps that I took to get there, honestly, it was just making the most of the resources available to me, leveraging that Experience Guelph job board, developing skills through free workshops, making the time even when it gets really busy, because it's really, really worth it. And then working up the confidence and making sure you celebrate lots of success along the way. So working on campus has been really rewarding for me, and know that there's lots of opportunities out there for you as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much to Corey for sharing your experience, as well to Brittany for walking us through Experience Guelph. And lastly, a huge thank you to Brianna for showing us how to budget and manage our finances while at university. So that is the end of our official programming, but we have a few questions that are coming in through the chat that I will read out loud, and then I think Brianna is going to answer them for us. But our first question is, when and how can I apply for bursaries?
Yeah, so you can apply for bursaries by submitting a financial need assessment form. These forms are usually available in mid-August on our website in the forms section. And the deadline to apply will be noted on the form. Typically, it's early October. Some bursaries also require an application in addition to the financial need assessment form. So if there's a specific one that you have in mind, it's important to read through the requirements for that specific award to make sure that you hit, whether it's a letter or a reference or something along those lines, make sure to get that all in. And then to find these bursaries and determine your eligibility to apply, you can use the award search tool on our website. So it's under scholarships and financial aid, and then you'll choose either undergraduate or graduate award search, and you'll be able to filter it down by your program and all that kind of fun stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, Brianna. Can you tell us what is the registration deposit and how much is it?
Yeah, so the registration deposit is a minimum non-refundable deposit payment of $200. It must be submitted by the close of business on August 12th. So put that in your calendar if you haven't already. It has to be paid in order to hold the courses that you've selected. So if you've already completed course selection, you want to make that $200 to secure your seat. And then to select any new courses. So if you wanted to make any changes, you would have to have that $200 deposit in. It's a payment that will be applied to your bill, so it's not an additional charge. It's just a down payment on the balance that you'll have owing on WebAdvisor. And it's important to please keep in mind that $200 will not show up on your account with the label of registration deposit, but you will see, once we've received your $200 payment, you'll see that $200 payment on there on your Fall 22 account view, and you'll be all set. It's important to note that all students must pay the $200 deposit by the registration deposit deadline, so all undergraduate students, regardless of your funding source. So if you've got scholarships and bursaries, you can't use those for your deposit. Same with Osap, you can't use Osap towards your deposit. And international students who have paid the $1,000 deposit for international students are not required to pay the $200 deposit. So the registration, it's charged in advance of each fall semester, and that $200 will get applied to that bill for you.
Awesome, thank you. We have some questions about when students pay.
Yeah, so the students can pay, they're billed by semester. So it's going to be one in the fall for September and then one in the winter for January. And then if you're here in the summer, you can pay in May as well. And then we have a list of the different ways you can pay on our website. And I believe also startonline.ca/finances has a link to it as well. So you can check out that online. But yeah, we've got a whole list of our different methods of payment. And then the deadlines are also available on our website.
Wonderful. If a student needs a confirmation of enrollment, how would they get one?
So if you need a confirmation of enrollment, for example, like for a scholarship or to withdraw funds from an RESP, there's a link as well on the startonline.ca/finances that'll take you to the form that you'll need. Please note that these requests can take up to 10 business days to process during peak times of the semester, so make sure if you've got the request to get it in as soon as you can. If you require confirmation of enrollment for OSAP or like an out-of-province funding assistance, we take care of that in our office here, so you don't need to request a confirmation of enrollment for OSAP. We will put through your application as long as everything's good to go.
And can you explain just quickly again how OSAP works and how it's applied to the students' accounts?
Yeah, so OSAP assesses students based on the information that they provide in their application. As such, it's important to ensure that any of the data you submit is accurate. So if the data is accurate, then your OSAP funding, your assessment, will be accurate as well. Your estimated funding from OSAP will show on WebAdvisor in late August, so you can see, how much of your bill you still have owing after we consider the anticipated OSAP that's incoming. So for a typical fall/winter OSAP application, funds are released in 2 installments. So the first installment would be released in the fall, and it would usually be about 60% of your total funding allotment, and then the remaining 40% would be released on your winter term. OSAP funding is directed to your school account first. So if you have a balance owing with the university, we're going to take as much funding as we can or as we need to cover your balance and bring it down to 0. And then any remaining funds, if your assessment is larger than the balance owing, would go to your bank account. Your OSAP account will show the approximate release dates and how much will be dispersed directed to the university and when that'll be done, as well as the amount that will be sent to you if that applies.
Thank you. And another OSAP related question. What happens if a student applies for full-time OSAP, but then they decide to take a part-time course load?
Yeah, so if you will not be attending full-time studies based on OSAP's definition and we haven't confirmed your enrollment yet, you have to cancel or close that full-time application, which can be done by logging into OSAP and selecting, like going in, editing, selecting close. It's your responsibility to ensure, like as the student, that your application is closed prior to us confirming your enrollment, which begins in late August, early September. If your application's already been confirmed and then you drop or withdraw, you are subject to penalties with OSAP, whether it's a reassessment or depending on the change, you could go down to part-time and be on a probation. If you decide to attend on a part-time basis, based on OSAP's definition, which is a 40% course load or 59% course load or less, you may be eligible to apply for part-time OSAP as long as you don't have a confirmed full-time application, because you can't have both types of funding at the same time. If your full-time application has already been confirmed, you can't switch to part-time in the same semester. So just keep that in mind. You have to pretty much know what your plan is for your studies before you apply for OSAP or get a confirmed OSAP application. And please note that you cannot apply for University of Guelph bursaries or need-based scholarships with a part-time OSAP application. You would need a full-time OSAP application.
Thank you for clearing some of that. What if a student doesn't receive as much OSAP funding as they were expecting?
So what I typically recommend in that situation is that you review the data on your application just to make sure it's accurate. So you can do that by logging into your OSAP account, selecting check status, and then there will be an option to view a summary of your application. To review your application, ensure, like I said, all the answers are correct. If you notice something that's not correct or that needs to be changed, you'll need to reach out to us to request that change, and you can contact us at finaid@uofguelph.ca. Some common errors or omissions can include, but definitely are not limited to, there being an incorrect course load. So if you apply and say that you're going to be in a 100% course load, but you're actually in a 60% course load, that's something that can hold up an application. A big one is reporting scholarships or bursaries that you've received from the University of Guelph. So Student Financial Services reports those on behalf of students. So that would result in your award being reported twice to OSAP. So that'll impact your assessment as well. So if you've reported internal awards from the university, let us know. We can get those taken off for you. Another one is adding decimals to parent income, which usually results in a higher income being reported, because what OSAP does is they'll let you write the full number, but they'll take out the decimal. So instead of it being, somewhere in the tens of thousands, it could be in the hundreds of thousands without that decimal there. So that's a big one as well. And also not completing a request for review to adjust living allowance form. If your parents reside within 30 kilometers, they have to be within 30 kilometers of the university, but that you don't live within, that you're renting somewhere else. Another thing, just to let you guys know, you can't make changes to your application on your own. So if you do need something updated, you will have to upload either a signed letter to OSAP or reach out to us by email, and we can direct you on what we'll need to make that change.
Thank you so much. And our last question that's coming through here, Brianna, is what does a negative balance on my account mean?
Okay, so a negative balance on your account means that you might be eligible for a refund. If you see a negative balance on your account and the payment deadline is passed, so September 16th for the fall term, you can reach out to student accounts at acquest@uofguelph.ca to request that your account be reviewed for any potential refund that you might have. Please ensure when you send your email that you're sending it from your University of Guelph email account, also known as your GRIF mail, and that you include your student ID number in your email. If you're eligible for a refund, it will be e-transferred to you. And if you're not eligible for a refund, you will receive a response explaining why you are not eligible at this time.
Thank you so much, Brianna, for everything. So that's all of our program for this afternoon. We hope that you folks learned a lot in the session, learned about the different resources and supports available to you for managing your finances, and feel a little bit more prepared for that August 12th tuition deposit and your September 16th payment deadlines. As always, if you have any questions that weren't answered in the session today, you're more than welcome to reach out to start@uofguelph.ca. And if we don't have the answer, we can direct you to the right folks who do. But we hope you all have a great rest of your summer, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. when we talk about skills to thrive in university. Bye, everyone.